Yeah, hi there. We are continuing with our Ggplot 2 tutorial. So let's first quickly load the libraries and prepare the dataset that we have been doing so far in the previous tutorial as well. Dataset obviously is the same, which is Sachin's score in World Cup matches. Let me just quickly prepare this dataset. And I'll display first few rows. So this is what our dataset is. Country against which he played that innings, the date, runs scored, balls faced, number of four sixes, and the World Cup year. Okay, that is fine. Okay, let's start with the scatter plot, and we'll see how do we proceed further. So we have a ggplot function we are using. Data frame is tf. It's the same one. Again, on the x-axis is the number of balls faced. Y-axis is the number of runs scored. I'm setting the point based on the year of the World Cup and setting the size fixed as 2 and setting the title. So let me just quickly print it. So this is what we have. It's a simple scatter plot. Now what I want is all those is innings whenever Sachin scored century, I want to encircle it. So if you see, these are the innings which are 100 plus, yeah. So I want to create a circle around this. So how do we do this? We will use another library called Ggplot. So I have already installed it. If you have not installed, then you can install it. Once it is installed, you can just load the library Ggplot, and we are so this we have already stored in a graphical object small g. Now we are building on top of it. I am using one function geom underscore encircle, and within this I'm specifying the x-axis and the y-axis the same as balls and the runs scored. The only thing that I'm doing is for the data, the data this time is not coming from the DF. It is actually a subset of data frame DF. So this time data is only those points whenever Sachin scored more than 100 runs in the World Cup match. So I'm putting a condition if DF dot runs is greater than equals to 100, then select only those data points and use the red color to encircle that particular data points. So there we go. Let me just run it. Yeah. So if you see, this is a circle which is placed. So in this way we are able to highlight specific data points based on the condition, and the condition that we had specified was the number of runs scored should be at least 100. Okay, so continuing further, we are going to plot jitter plot. So what is a jitter plot? It's again just like the dot plot. The only thing is if in our normal geom underscore point plot, if we get points which are overlapping, then it's very difficult to distinguish which point, how many points are being overlapped, right? So another option is to use another function called geom underscore jitter. What it will do, it will displace the overlapping points by some distance, which is controlled by this parameter called as width, and we can then easily identify, okay, what are the points there at any given value. So let us draw this. So I'm using ggplot. It's the same thing on the x-axis, and now this time what I'm doing is on the x-axis I'm just changing the axis from the normal our balls to this time I'm choosing, let's say, country, and I want to see how he did against each country such in the World Cup matches. So on the x-axis we have categorical variable called as country, y-axis is the number of runs scored, and using geom underscore jitter function, the color the dots based on the World Cup year, width, that is how much data points should be spaced out, is I'm setting at dot 1, and size is 2, which is the size of the dots. Theme, I'm so using theme function, what I'm doing, I'm just tilting the elements on the x-axis by the 90 degree. So let's quickly plot it, and then I'll just go through the code again. So this is what we have. We have on the x-axis country, list of the countries, and on the y-axis is the runs scored. So we can see how Sachin did against each country based on the different World Cups he placed against that particular country. So these points are now colored based on the World Cup year. Now, if you see if there are few points which are close enough, like for example these 2 points, maybe he scored similar exact similar runs, or yeah, if you see these 2 points, then they will be spaced out because I'm using geom underscore jitter. Okay, and how much they will be spaced out depends on the parameter width. Okay, now if you see these country names, they are appearing at an angle of 90 degrees. So if the reason we have to do this, otherwise all these country names would be overlapping with each other. So I had to tilt it. So I'm using this theme function to tilt the text on the x-axis using this axis.text.x, and I'm specifying angle within this function element underscore text angle is 90 degrees. So that's how the country names got tilted. Okay, now let's continue further. I'm just setting the theme to classic. Okay. There is another thing which is called as the count plot. So let's quickly plot a normal our dot plot. This is how we get. Now let's see how it differs if we are using a count plot. So basically what count plot does, so whenever there are overlapping points, it makes the size of the circles bigger. So that's what the count plot is. So the only changes the name of the function is geom underscore count, and I'm coloring it, and but at the same time I'm hiding the legend. So I'm using show dot legend equals to false. So it will not display the legend. So if you see the points which are kind of overlapping to each other, the circle will be a bit bigger. Now next is the diverging bars. So basically I want uh, to categorize in each World Cup how many Sachin scored 50s, and how many innings were there where he did not pass even the 50 runs, uh, landmark. Okay, so for what I'm doing is first I'm using this if else condition, and the condition is if runs scored is greater than equals to 50. I'm saying it's above 50, otherwise below 50. I'm storing it in another variable called score underscore type and assigning it within the data frame. So let's quickly do this. And I'm creating another variable small r which says if the run is more than equal to 50, then it should have positive one, otherwise it should have a negative one. Storing it in a variable small r. Now let me quickly first plot it, then I'll go through the plot and see how the code actually is used to create that plot. There we go. So what we have is this diverging bar. So if you see, this is the baseline. Yeah. So these are the innings when he scored more than 50 runs, and these are the innings when he scored less than 50 runs. And this is each of the World Cup. For example, in 2003, he scored around, I mean, highest number of, I mean, maximum 50s. He 50 maximum 50 plus scores he did. Sachin did in 2003, and then again followed by 1996. Again in that particular World Cup, he made a lot of 50s. Similarly, in 1992, but if you see 1999 and 2007 were relatively quite. 2011 was okay, but he was at his peak in 2003, and 1996 obviously was good in 1992 also. That was actually almost the start of his career. In 1999, he made a lot of scores, but which were below 50, so he could not reach 50. I think on probably one occasion he was able to get past 50 runs landmark. So let's see how we actually achieve this. So what we have done here is using this ggplot. The data is from the data frame df. On the x-axis, I want the World Cup year, and on the y-axis, I'm saying small r. Small r is basically the variable that we had created just there, and the label I'm choosing is based on the absolute value of the small r. Actually, it doesn't, yeah. And then what I'm doing is I'm using geom underscore bar and status identity. So what it will do, it will take the values which are present in small r and use it instead of generating the count. And I'm filling it based on the score type and setting the width of dot 5. So after that, I'm just flipping the coordinate and uh, f- because I want to hide the title of the axis, so I'm setting axis dot title equals to element underscore blank. So this will hide the title. Then what I'm doing is I'm just filling the color of these bars manually by just setting the name of the legend as a score type and the labels I'm setting as above 50 and below 50, and the values for above 50 it is a steel blue and for below 50 it is tomato color. So that's how we have created this particular chart. That's it for now in this tutorial. Thank you.